So Halo 4's loadout system frequently and sort of appropriately gets compared to other FPS games, including Call of Duty and others, and definitely in terms of how much effect the progression system has on your player, that's a reasonable sort of comparison. I think the real difference is that Halo is built on a notion of really balanced gameplay. I think, and I love Black Ops, for example. In Black Ops, I'm always trying to get to a weapon. That's always my eyes are on that prize, and it will be a very, very powerful weapon. Halo is really more about survivable encounters rather than getting the drop on someone or winning through having a bigger gun. And also using the things you find on the battlefield. So while you are able to unlock weapons and abilities that do modify your baseline traits, they're not as bluntly not as powerful and not as game-changing. They're about subtlety and they're about style ultimately. So in Halo 4 we introduced a system of loadouts that the high-level philosophies, they allow you to customize your loadout and your Spartan to play the way that you like to play. Now it's tied to your career progression system, so it's not like you can build a custom loadout featuring every single aspect and weapon right off the bat. And another really important aspect is it's not like you can make a loadout that's nothing but rocket launchers and plasma grenades. It's not about power weapons. It's about sort of useful default role-based loadouts that suit your style of play. And that's something that's also reflected in the type of weapons we have in the game. There are a lot of weapons, they're very similar, but have subtle distinctions that might be more useful to you as a specific type of player. And a really simple example that's easy to understand is the DMR and the battle rifle. So DMR is designated marksman rifle, and it's a very precision weapon, hit scan. You shoot the reticle, that's exactly where you hit instantly. The battle rifle has a little lift as it fires a 3-shot burst. So it's still pretty accurate and very, very predictable, but it has this little spread caused by the sort of rise of the weapon. Now, why are those two things different? Well, obviously, they're very slightly different in terms of power. If you land all 3 shots, it's like landing 1 DMR shot. So there's these subtle distinctions between weapons that mean that your loadout will be of equivalent power to an opponent's loadout, and that's going to be included in matchmaking and sort of the way that your career will progress as it relates to other players. We get asked a lot, what is the fictional connection between war games, which was previously just sort of existed in this alternate Halo universe, and Spartanox? And the main connection, apart from the story, which does actually connect the two things, is the fact that your career progression is tied between the two modes. So everything that you do in war games has a direct effect on your career in Spartanox and vice versa. So if you earn and unlock loadouts and new abilities and even specializations in war games, for example, you can take those into Spartanox. And so why is that important? Everyone understands why it's important in PvP. You've got the weapons, the skills, and the abilities that you want, and that's obviously important. But in Spartanox, it's actually important too, because I always use crawlers as the easy to understand problem space. If you know you're going on a level with crawlers and your favorite loadout is a DMR, you really don't want to do that this time. You actually really want to use a BR instead of a DMR if you can, or maybe even one of the Promethean weapons like the light rifle is a little bit easier to fire from the hip. And pick things that you can make those easier headshots with. And of course you can swap loadouts between levels, so it's not like you have to stick with one loadout for your entire career. You have a bunch of them, you have 5 of them right in front of you at any time that you can eventually name and customize and change whenever you like, and as you unlock things. And so the way that the loadouts function means that you're likely, if you're a typical player, to have mostly sort of PvP loadouts, I think, but you'll probably have a couple of go-to Spartanox loadouts, and you can name them that as well. You could call it like Spops 1 or Spops 2, and just sort of understand in your head what that means in terms of how you're going to take on encounters with AI bad guys. So when we launch the game, we're going to have a quite sort of condensed and distilled set of matchmaking playlists. Now, there's going to be a lot of playlists. Infinity Slayer is a simple example where you're going to be able to use your loadouts universally. You'll pick your loadout, whatever you're able to unlock and use, you're going to be able to go in there. There's going to be skill-based matchmaking as well, so you're unlikely, at least at initial blush, to go into a matchmaking playlist where you're outgunned, because it just simply doesn't really work like that. But I think that one of the really interesting things that that we like to explain is there's also going to be classic playlists where those loadouts are restricted and easy one to understand. If you're playing Team Snipers, well, guess what? Your loadouts are going to be limited to sniper weapons, and you're not going to be able to choose your own loadouts. And we're still going to have those carefully crafted classic Halo experiences. We're definitely putting most of our effort and our imagination and our sort of updates into newer playlists for obvious reasons. But you'll definitely be able to find classic, unmolestable Halo experiences in that batch of matchmaking. Halo 4 releases on November 6th, which is Election Day, so make sure you vote first and then go buy the game.
Wake up, Chief.